Hello everyone, and welcome back to my Minecraft Forever world. Today is a super exciting video because it is our 200th day in this world, and I'm so excited to have you here joining me at the cafe. Another exciting news is that we updated our world to the latest version 1.21.5. So in a long play, I went and collected some of the new items in the game, and today we're gonna decorate. I'll revisit it a little bit later, but I also set up a Discord server for you all. The link is in the description. So to get it out of the way, we are going to do some animal naming at the start of this episode. I have named my axolotls, as you know, the Powerpuff Girls, but somebody let me know I actually don't need name tags for them, which thank you for letting me know, because every day it seems there's more and more I don't know about this game. So I went ahead and renamed their buckets, and we have them all named. Second, I got requested to name one of my horses Donkey, and I thought it would only be fitting not to name my steak, but to name the other horse Shrek. So now we have Donkey and we have Shrek for our two horses. What should the third horse be named once we get it? And I had a couple enchanting levels left over, so I decided to try my hand at getting myself a somewhat good bow. So I enchanted all of these broken bows I've collected over time, just until I got something that is good enough for now. So I ended up with something that's actually somewhat good. Once I had finished that, I decided to go home and get started on doing a bunch of crafting. I made some chiseled bookshelves, a couple smokers, and this is all in preparation to finally decorate my house, because it's sat empty looking as if no one even lives in there, but I do. And so I just made a bunch of different decorative items we can use to make our house feel like a home. I of course made some barrels and some paintings for some cute little decorations, and now let's do a little ASMR building. Once I had finished decorating, it only seems fitting to craft myself a cake to place on the countertops of my newly furnished kitchen. But it really wasn't all that easy. I had to get the sugar, and I had to get 3 buckets of milk freshly milked from my cows up in my beloved little farm. I think this is my first time milking those cows. Anyways, after that, I went and got some wheat and a fresh egg from my sweet chickens, plus 16 more that, just part of the job. And then I went back home to craft the cake that now sits on my counter as a reminder of the day that we finally decorated our home. It only took us 200 days. Once I had put up my table for one, lit some candles, and filled the shelves with some books, I decided I probably needed some carpets because I'd imagine it's cold here at night and it just makes the house feel a bit more cozy. So I went to my very overpopulated sheep farm and just sheared away, mostly focusing on the white and pink because those are the color of carpets I want for my house. White and pink, because pink's my favorite color. Because I decided it was a good idea to shear half of my sheep population, I did have a lot of leftover carpet even after putting it on my first and second floor in my house. So I decided as an attempt to begin furnishing my little watchtower, whatever you want to call this, I decided to put some up in my bedroom up here and down at the bottom surrounding the crafting table. We'll get here at some point. This will look like a little farmhouse at some point, but today is not that day. I told you guys at some point I would get back to talking about it, but I did put together a Discord server for all of the little cafe community. I want it to be a safe place where we can make friends, have movie nights, play games together, talk about Minecraft, talk about our favorite coffee drink, things like that. I'll leave the link in the description if you would like to join. I think it would be fun for us all to have a space together, and it seems as though after setting up a poll for you guys, you all want that too. So I hope to see you over on the Little Cafe Discord server soon. In a long play for my channel members, I went around getting all of the new update decorative items like the leaf litter, the flower piles, and of course my favorite firefly bushes. So I thought today it would be a good idea to finally decorate my farm because I also decorated my house. So I took some sweet berries, the leaf litter, and some flowers, and we're gonna go off to decorate my area. I also put a smithing table in here, but I realized we're actually gonna have a smith build at some point, so this is probably temporary. And then I began going around placing some sweet berries in some various spots. Although I did decide getting some bone meal so these guys can grow immediately is probably the best idea. Not before I put a couple down on my stairway as well though. So I made my way back home into my chest room and just grabbed some bone meal because one, it would be helpful for the sweet berries, but two, we can even expand our firefly population with some bone meal. So I just wanted to put a couple around because the particles and the ambient sound I think is perfect for the vibe we're going for in our area. So I just began putting firefly bushes everywhere, and then went back through and placed a couple more sweet berries as well as bone meal the ones I had already put down. And I will go back and bone meal the one that I forgot just now. I want this area to feel alive, so I went ahead and bone mealed a couple more firefly bushes just so I can have a few more, and we'll do that again later too. So I just continued decorating with the leaf litter, the bushes, the fireflies, and the little yellow flowers, even up in my barn area. Seeing as we've reached another 100-day milestone in this world, I felt like in this episode I just wanted to take more time really enjoying every aspect of the world we have built, honestly, together. We've named things, we've had build ideas, and it's been a group effort project from the start. So there'll probably be lots of moments in this video where things are just a bit slower than normal. I'm walking around more, I'm speeding less things up, and just really enjoying our world. Also, while I was by my horses, I decided to do some pathing outside of their pasture as if it's a heavily traveled area, which I do in most of my barn builds, and this was my first area using the leaf litter. Same as last time, I just wanted to take some time and say thank you. Thank you for being here for another whole 100 days in our forever world. Through the long plays, the episodes, long or short, even though short's kind of relative, it's still 20 minutes. You've been here and you've stuck with me. And in these 2 months, I feel like we have accomplished so much as a channel, going from 0 to 3,000 subscribers in what feels like to me such a short time. So whoever you are, wherever you are, I just want to say thank you, and I am beyond appreciative for you and your constant support for me and my channel. I wouldn't be where I am today without each and every one of you, and this has very quickly become something that I can do on the side, but also something I fully enjoy. So I just want to say thank you for making these first 2 months of our channel the best ever. You've allowed me to take something I enjoy that truly was just a hobby and make it something amazing. So thank you. As I continued building our paths up with some flowers, I did gather some bees behind me, so I decided we would breed a cute little baby bee. And they're so tiny and cute. To think that in the first episode, these bees were after me trying to take my life, and I fled on a boat. The memories. After I had finished all of the surrounding areas, I went back to my home and I duplicated a lot of these firefly bushes with some bone meal. I did as much as I could before breaking them and just popping a few more around at the base of some trees. Then the fireflies just fly up into the trees. I used my last few yellow petals to make this little pathway going up this staircase that still leads to nothing. Don't worry, we will solve that problem later. I also realized I'm gonna have to go find that birch forest again and get more of these leaves because I am pretty much all out of my cute little flowers. I popped down a few more firefly bushes before realizing that this area looks incredible with all of the particles floating around from our firefly friends. The ambience, the little specks of fireflies was so beautiful, and I'm so glad we were able to put this in our world. While adventuring, I found this bottle of enchanting and I thought it would be a fun idea to put it on the wall because I'll probably never find one again, and what is one bottle of enchanting really gonna do for me? So I went ahead and made an item frame and I popped it right up by this chest where we used to keep the beehives. Look at that thing, sparkling and glistening. I went ahead and went to sleep and woke up and decided I chose violence today. I happened to go on an absolute cow killing spree and I'm not quite sure why, but the good news is I now have food for, I don't know, probably forever. My sword has fire aspect, so it just cooks it immediately for me, which is quite handy when killing a bunch of animals. I don't know what I was doing, it's terrible. But also my FPS dropped insanely when I come in this area because of all the cows, sheep, and chicken, so it was probably for the best. And once I threw out a bit of seeds, I went straight over to the chickens and I thinned out the herd a little bit. Just a touch. I just got rid of a few and then I went inside to get my freshly grilled chicken, the feathers and the eggs. One did escape, don't worry. We go after him. This poor chicken was trying to get away from me, but I did find it and I did get my dinner. I went to sleep again, but today, instead of killing animals, I grabbed my to-do list book and decided it would be a good idea to build some construction zones for some future builds of our world. I have a bunch of ideas in this book, and I thought I would take some wood, take some signs, and kind of plot out the land for all of my future builds. Or at least a couple. I definitely don't do all of them. So this right here to the right of the sheep will be the lumber mill or wood hut, whatever name we decide to come up with. And then over by the horse pen, I decided to do another build that will look similar to the blacksmith area. And this will be specifically for tools, the toolsmith. I decided it was a good idea just to get a little temporary path so I don't forget to do one later on. So we will be back to finish the path. Right down over here, I thought it'd be a cute idea to do a little fisherman's hut. It'll be an on-land and off-land hut, so I didn't really build this one out. I just popped down a little log and we called it good. We'll come back to this though. I checked a couple things off my list and we moved on to the next thing. Once I was finished with that, I made my way over to the enchanting area, but instead of going in, we went up. and I got to work clearing out this forest. It was pretty thinned out anyway because, let's be honest, I come here and cut down trees all the time, which is why we need the little lumber carpenter hut, because I'm constantly clearing out this poor forest. But I leveled it out a bit, did a tiny bit of terrain on this little hill, and cut down almost all of the trees. This will probably be our biggest build right now. And it's going to be the villager trading hall, but instead of a trading hall, I'm going to do a villager trading tavern. It'll be kind of like a hotel with beverages. Do you see what I get? Like, it's kind of a fun idea. I thought it would be a good idea to light this up since it was quite a big empty area. I then made my way up this little hill that we worked on terraforming, and I did chop down a couple trees, and then I quickly decided I did not want to clear out a whole second forest. So I cut down 2 trees, and we'll come back to this later, but this is where we're going to put our iron farm. I thought since it was close to the villagers, maybe that's cruel, I don't know, but we do need an iron farm. I think it'll be a great addition. I updated my list and went ahead and checked those off. I really wanted to find a spot for our market stands, so I went into free cam and looked around, and this little island caught my eye. I thought if we disconnected it from the stone and made it a full island, that could look pretty cool. To have like a whole island full of trading and fun markets and stalls. So I went to bed and decided to revisit it in the morning. But morning came and I still thought it was a great idea, so I hopped in the little lake for a swim and I made my way over to that island. With some terraforming, some trees, some planting, and getting rid of these skeletons, I think we have a nice piece of land here for a trading outpost, trading island. We'll come up with a clever name for it at some point. So, like everywhere else, I put down my log, I put down my sign, and it is the Island of Trading Markets. We're gonna have to workshop that a little bit. But the last thing I wanted to do over here was just disconnect the island from the stony shores. I think we're gonna need to make this look a bit better somehow. Talking about the stony shores, because it just doesn't really fit in. Nevertheless, I went ahead and crossed off another thing from the list. And now we just need to actually build all of these things we've went and set out for today. Anyways, we'll get to it at some point. I went back across the little lake, river, pond, whatever you want to call it, and I went up our hill and decided there was one more thing I wanted to put back here. Down around where the carpenter's hut is, there is this big open land that's not very flat. It's gonna need some work, but I thought this would be a great spot for all of our trees to go because we need some sort of tree farm, some place to build the trees, grow the trees, whatever you want to say. So I decided to put an actual tree farm back there. Back into free cam, I needed to figure out where I want to put all of my other farms. For sugarcane, for cactus, for pumpkins, for melons. And I thought this area behind the horse barn would be perfect because we did clear out a lot when we were collecting wood, as always. So I didn't give too much detail, but I did say we were going to put it here at some point. I went ahead and crossed off all of those things. I think lists are the most rewarding thing ever because you get to cross it off as you go. The last thing I wanted to lay out was actually a build requested by one of you, which was to build a cafe. And if you think about it, that kind of makes a lot of sense because this is my channel. But there was this little opening that looked like a perfect spot for a hobbit hole, and I just haven't gotten around to it. Well, this is where the cafe is gonna go. So last but not least, we are crossing off the cafe from our list for today. I went ahead and put it back on the table, and there we have it.